Alright guys, so last episode was supposed to be the last one, and then it was bothering me leaving those errors in. If you guys read the comment I had on the previous video, then I've kind of already explained this, but it was bothering me leaving that there. So I went and I worked on a solution for it, figured out kind of what the issues were, at least for some, and then some I couldn't actually fix because it seems like it's just an issue on Unity's end. And then I went and I did some adjustments on training to see just how different outcomes went. So let's go into that. I'm going to start off with the solutions, but let's go ahead and hide this because we don't need to see all of these when we're going through and we're just testing stuff. So let's move in. We can see our little area here. The camera will adjust as we go through. Let's go ahead and jump into, let me see, world behaviors. In fact, this should open up all the scripts because I have them all open in Visual Studio. I made a couple little changes. I think some of them aren't necessary and don't really do anything. And one fixes the issue. But this is what I've gone with so far. So if we go into world behaviors, is it in world behaviors? No, sorry, in zombie controller, I added a world behaviors here. And I did that for the on destroy. I created on destroy because as far as I'm aware, it gets called when destroy gets called. Although it doesn't print anything. I've never used on destroy before. I think it might not actually do anything. So if it doesn't, then you probably don't need this here. So if we hop over to agent controller, I went through and I tried adding in the remove for each time, because I'm like, okay, it's not removing the zombie, there's an issue. That didn't seem to produce any fixes. However, if in world behaviors, when we're spawning in a zombie, I come down here. Oh, for that, yeah, sorry, for the world behaviors thing, because there is the on destroy. I don't think it does anything, but for world behaviors, in here I call new zombie.world behaviors, which is this variable world behaviors, and I assign it this, which is the world behavior, or it's assigning basically their world behaviors from this specific instance of world behaviors. Because every time we go and we duplicate here, we have a different world. So it's saying we want this specific one. I believe that's the fix for the error that was coming up, which I can put up on the screen here. I have a screenshot of the error. I haven't encountered it since. There is another error I have encountered though, and that's the one that I think actually there's two. Usually it's one, every once in a while there's another one, like a pointer. I think that's just Unity. Everything I've read on it seems like it's just Unity. I'll be able to demonstrate that when we're going through. I don't know if I need to do a training session necessarily. I might be able to just run it and run into that issue. So let's go ahead and select our agent. I have a few different brains here. Let me see. No punishment 30, timescale 1. That one, run 2. I think I'm going to skip those ones. I'm going to skip them and just show basically my. Do I have a 200,000 one? This might be the 200,000 one. But essentially, I trained to, or not 200,000, sorry, it might be 2 million or 20 million. I haven't counted the zeros, but however many zeros are here. And I was training against 30 zombies. And I was doing a time scale of 1, which actually it might be this one. Let's go ahead and run this one. And if it works, then we know it's that specific one. And sorry if I'm coughing a bit. I've got, I don't know, something in my throat. It's just decided to act up. But we'll go in here. This is the 30 one. It's not all that different. I went and I did a time scale of 1, meaning that when I'm doing training, it's using real time. Essentially, it's not going really fast. The speed it's running here is when it was running for that. And yeah, the results aren't that great. You kind of just hyper focuses in one area. When I have a bunch of different environments, sometimes he'll hyper focus down here, just another spot, and he doesn't really look around. We can watch him do that right here. You can see he really focuses and he gets some points, but not much. Then I went and I did In fact, I can just show right here. I thought I could just put it up on the screen, but right here might be easier. I did like, the 24, so additional, let me see. So if I can highlight, 100,000 million. Okay, additional 4 million steps with just 5 zombies. Now I went until approximately a mean of 140 for points. 150 is the max, and a standard deviation of 40. Sorry about that, guys, for the pause. I think it's just allergies are getting to me. I was sneezing a bunch, and now it's just like congested or something. And then I went to, and we'll run this one right now, and I'll go over each one as we go. So this one, it was just 5 zombies. And maybe I should as well just do 5 zombies. And so we can see how it does in its training session. Like under the same, I can't think of the word right now. Conditions. I don't know why I couldn't think of conditions. Under the same conditions. You see, he does a lot more spinning around. He's done better. So I was looking and it's like, I could adjust the config files if I want. But they typically, other than the amount of steps, typically fairly well. Oh, and there's the error. I'll address that in a moment. But usually it's the training scenario. So normally you want a smaller area to start with and then build up. I didn't want to have to remake the area or move the spawn points closer. So I just used the complexity, adjusting the complexity by having the number of zombies that were spawning. And these errors, I don't think there's a solution to them other than using just a different version of Unity, which I'm going to stick with this version currently because, other than this error, it works. And if you want to not have these errors come up, because they will just keep appearing, which I'll leave actually, I won't even do the solution yet so you can see it show up again. But, oh, there we go. So if I clear and then I just select down here, so now I no longer have something in the hierarchy, it won't happen again. Won't show up. For some reason, it's only when you have the hierarchy selected, the errors come up. But, so yeah, weird Unity bug sort of thing. And we can see here, he's still not perfect. Zombie shows up, that's that, only that mean 140 score, standard deviation of 40. He's not perfect at this. But he does pretty well. He's doing better than when we were training them against 30 zombies. And I went for 20 million, steps for training. This one was only a 4 million additional onto that. And he does fairly well. Next iteration that I spent, and doing the 20 million at the times of one, that took, I think, about like one full day. Like from training like 7 or 8 a.m. till probably like 8 at night or so. Like, not running it overnight, but it took pretty much the whole day. And actually, this wasn't, I did one before that too. So I spent a few days doing this. There's one, there's one with, actually, I'll probably be able to bring that up with punishment and no punishment. I took out all of the punishment. So there was no punishment for missing shots, no punishment for the zombies getting them. That, it didn't seem like it worked. Actually, let me see. Did it work that well? Or am I thinking the other way around? However I have this set up is going to be how it worked best. So if we, on action received, we end. Okay, I do. I have punishments for the zombies getting them. It seemed like it worked best with that. It wasn't terrible with, taking out the punishment. Well, it wasn't great. Next one, I went for another about 3 million steps or so. And I stopped it at a mean of 288. I believe the max would be 300. It'd be 30 times 10. They're 30 points each. So yeah, 300 and a standard deviation of 40. Did I delete the standard deviation of 40 here? I might have. Oh well, I don't think it matters. And actually, if I just close that and reopen it, it'll be back. So, but another standard deviation of 40, and so 72 million. If I come over here, so each of these just going up, a few million steps, probably took a few hours to do because it was going in real time. But let's go ahead and run this. Oh wait, I forgot we had 10 zombies. We'll look at him with 5 first and see how well he does, and then we'll bump it up to 10. Oh, and I want to select off there so you can see. In fact, let's look at him this way, and then we can zoom in down here. We can look at both. And oh, you can see both the cameras going on down there. And if you select up here, it won't unselect in the hierarchy. It'll only select from down below. Now you can see right here, he seems way more active than he did with 5. Let's go ahead and increase our zombie count, which is, how am I overlooking this? Oh, yeah, because I need to look in the world environment. Let's go ahead and close the list, bump this up to 10, and we'll run. And I kept everything with the times, the time between spawns the same. It was just 1 second always. Maybe I should have varied that a bit, but I figured, you know, that's fine. I'm going to leave this running, and we can kind of just watch and see how he does. There, because obviously this is far more than 10 zombies. There's 28 zombies here. There should only be 10. That is a bug I haven't fixed. I don't know why it happens, and it only happens just every once in a while. And I figured, well, one, I don't know why it happens. Second, I guess it adds a little bit of variation. We'll see how he does. I don't think he's going to do that well. They got better as I went with more training and adding in more zombies, but this guy, he does pretty well. He actually, oh no, that guy's gonna get him right there. Yep. But yeah, I don't know about that one specifically. Next up, I did another 2 million with 15 zombies. I was afraid when I went up by 10 that it would cause some issues. I was like, okay, I know it's only 5 zombies, but it's a double. You know, it's a pretty big increase. But I went up to 15 next. It worked out well with the 10, so I was like, okay, 15, 405. If I open up my calculator, we have 15 times 30, because I don't want to do math in my head. It's 450. It wouldn't get up to 450. It was just sitting around there, so I think eventually I stopped it at this. I don't think that was my set time, but maybe it was. I don't actually know. It wouldn't have been. I would have just switched, because it was standard deviation of 90, so it's fairly high. It's not like the other two, which were 40. But let's go ahead and run the 29 million. Why do I keep selecting the wrong? I keep selecting the wrong things each time. Behaviors, we do want this open. 29 million. And let's go ahead and run this. Oh, I forgot, I need to change the zombie account as well. Is we trained them on a different amount, which doesn't really matter too much, but I would like to, you know, keep it consistent with what they train for, so you can see how well they do against more enemies. Let's go ahead and also change this to maximized, and I'll just let it play, and you guys can see how he does. I'll cut my mic during that. Here, he's done fairly well against these zombies. He hasn't really had much of an issue against them. He's gotten them all. I think so far each time he's gotten them. A little, you know, he's still jittery. I think that's just kind of a given. I don't have any, you know, reward for smoothing out movements or any incentive to smooth out movements. So if he's hitting then it's fine. And that one got him, which that is the standard deviation, and they're not perfect. They're 50 points less. Then because of that, I was like, let me just jump a little and see if it'll fix it. If maybe just a few more zombies will push them towards learning more instead of staying fairly consistent. Bumped it up to 18 zombies, and we got stuck at 493, which again, if we open up calculator, 18 times 30 should go up to 540. It was bouncing around this. This is where I stopped it at, or when my training stopped, one or the other. And yeah, I was just like, okay, we'll try bumping it a little bit more to 22. I'm gonna go ahead. Actually, I should show the 34 ones. I think it was about the same. I think in the end, there wasn't much of a difference. And actually, which one did I want to show? 34. And oh, yeah, I forgot to make a copy of this one, I'm pretty sure. And so when I continued on, I was like, oh, oops. And the score jumped a lot because there was more zombies, so it's just more they happened to hit. But the standard deviation was really high with them. And I think the performance was about the same regardless. So let's go ahead and we're going to grab that one. And we can, go and I can't think of the word. Maybe I'm sick and that's why I can't think of it. It's not allergies. We'll see. I was around a lot of people yesterday. I want to go into results. Yeah, that's it. And then timescale 1 run 6 shooter. Gonna copy this. Go over into assets, brains, timescale 1 run 6. Paste. And we're gonna name this 402. So 40,200,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. And to do the timescale thing, so you guys already saw the commands. What happened here? No, don't highlight. Just let me go down. You guys already saw the commands where, you go like MLAgents-learn. And then if I recall correctly, usually I look at what I have written. I do /config/ file.yaml. And then I do the --run-id and then run name. Well, what I do in order to have the change of timescale, because by default it's at, I believe, 20 times. And so it's going really fast. So the amount of training that I did for, at the 30 times one takes, if you want to do a timescale of 1, takes about 20 times longer to do that. And it seemed like it got different results, but maybe, it just learned differently. It was like it didn't take the same steps. But I pretty much just add, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Actually, I don't need to do all the spaces, just one. I go right in between. You could do it, I'm sure, before config. I don't know about run after run ID. I kind of assume like I treat that as the end of the statement. Probably will work just fine. But I do, I think it's --time-scale. Scale equals 1. And if this is incorrect, I'll throw down in the comments the correct one. I'm going off of memory here, and usually I don't go off of memory when I write these commands. But I believe this is correct, and so if you wanted normal, you could just leave it and not put timescale, but 20. I also tried a timescale of 5, which I think we saw in the folders here, which it's empty. It's probably, yeah, it's in here. And it's this one right here. And it seemed like 5 worked fairly well, but I wanted to make sure there wasn't an issue with just physics in the nav mesh, because it seemed like going at 20 times messed with the nav mesh. So 1 time seemed to work fine. But then let's go ahead and run this one and just see how it looks after spending like 2 days training. Oh, and also if I wanted to continue the training and do more time steps, you change the YAML file and do resume. So you can do that. Now let's run it and see, and I'll mute for that. And that's it, guys. Besides, I just wanted to mention I was looking through this. NavMesh does still have issues if you have too many environments. This amount that I had, which I'm guessing I had about 64 or so, seemed like it worked fine. Maybe a few less would be better. But running at timescale of 1 seemed like it was fine. Any more, and seemed like it was starting to have issues. Might be on a hardware basis or maybe Unity basis, like a different version. I don't know, maybe even a different version of MLAgents would work better. But yeah, that was it. I just wanted to address the fixes or workarounds for some bugs and the fact that one still shows up every once in a while. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. And yeah, that'll be it for this series unless I decide that, I need to add more, or if you guys want to see this furthered, then, let me know. And I might just, do a few more things, add more things in the future. And with that, I hope you all have a fun time training agents. See ya.